Hi, my name is Samantha Kleiner. I'm currently going to be a sophomore at Arizona State University. I'm taking this astronomy class to fulfill a science quantitative requirement that I had. When choosing a science quantitative class, astronomy was always my biggest want. And so when I realized that I could take it at Lakeland over the summer, I just jumped at this opportunity. When the presentation topic discussion board rolled around, I struggled choosing a topic within astronomy because I just have always loved the sky. And the more I thought about it, the more I came to the conclusion that to truly know a topic, you have to first know the history and the background, where it came from, how it started, what were the people that influenced it the most. And because of this, I decided on the topic of the history of astronomy. The history of astronomy starts back to the 1200s, and even before then, and actually way before then. And as we discussed in our discussion boards, astrology came before astronomy did, and actually branched off of astrology. So the exploration and the curiosity of stars started way before astronomy was even created. And although stars, planets, and other celestial objects were associated with gods and spirits in the beginning, eventually the science came to life and is still here today. And interestingly enough, astronomy is actually considered to be the oldest of the natural sciences. I find this to be so interesting because the fact that people were so curious back in the day about the sky that it branched off into such a science that it's now known as the oldest. It's interesting that was what people what people looked up to, and that's what people were the most curious about. And that also may be because people heavily believed in religion, and the sky was viewed as dealings with gods and spirits. Before getting into depth about astronomy and learning the history of it, we have to understand astrology and how it began. Astrology began with the belief of gods, spirits, and myths. According to astrology, priests were also known as the first astronomers because astrology and astronomy was thought to be related to gods, and because priests had the only connection to God known, and the sky was viewed as a power of gods, the priests were also related to that. And due to science being heavily and almost completely dependent on religion at the time, the idea stayed strong with the sky. This would be why many constellations actually fit within the myths about gods and stories that are told. And not only was the sky thought to be related to the sky, but many believe that weather was actually caused by the sky, and the power of the celestial objects moving. This is why also the myth somehow came that Zeus throws the thunder, the lightning at humans. And even though the original calendar was created using the sky, using the patterns of the sun and the moon to create it, evidence has shown that the first observations of the moon happened thousands of years before this era. And the first calendar to actually be created was created 5,000 years before the first known calendar. So for the longest time it was believed that the calendar was created in this era, or a bit before this era, whereas there was a discovery made that it was actually the first one was created 8,000 BC, which is incredible. I think this is amazing because our thoughts advance, and they do, but because science continues to advance, but our curiosity has always been there. It's not something that advanced. Our curiosity is just within us, always itching to know more. To further understand astronomy and how it came about, and how important the sky is to humans, we have to know the different categories of astrology. The main categories include Western, Greek, Indian, and Chinese. What is truly amazing about the Western astronomy is that it included the first math put to use within astronomy, which is incredible because it was so long ago. They had records that kept occurrences within the sky, as well as predictions of what will happen in the sky. The early Indian astronomy had a model of the sky with planets and celestial objects placed throughout. They was observed so carefully and so specifically that they were actually able to create a model out of it. And the early Indian astronomy also believed in astrology so heavily, and believed this to be such a main focus that there was actually a golden age of astronomy in India. The Indian culture has always believed in the sky, as astrology is known as a way of life. And the Indian culture still today believes that the movement of celestial objects and certain occurrences within the sky, such as an eclipse, have meaning within our lives and affect us, and that we behave a certain way according to what's going on in space. This is amazing because it's unlike any culture that I have known about, and it was great learning this. The Greeks believed astronomy to be so powerful that it was actually considered to be a branch of math. Some of the most influential astronomers actually came from this branch of astrology. I believe that it may be, and why it was so powerful is because it wasn't viewed as a religious aspect, but rather it was viewed as a context within math, and so it wasn't viewed as this thing that we can't grasp. It was actually viewed as something we can grasp. And so it was a different approach, which led to so many discoveries. The Chinese astronomy heavily studied eclipses as well as studying time. And actually, interestingly enough, the Chinese astronomy was the first branch of astronomy and astrology to actually have a catalog of the stars. It's incredible where astronomy and astrology came from, and I'm so glad that I have this opportunity to learn more about it, and I'm looking forward to sharing more with you guys.